Number 2 video in our series this month on Alzheimer's awareness and tips and tricks for caring for your loved one with Alzheimer's. So like we mentioned in our first video, and if you haven't seen that video, we'll try to link that below and connect you so you can check that out. But we're going to be doing a series this month. Since the end of the month, we'll be doing our Alzheimer's walk, where we're doing fundraising for the National Alzheimer's Association. We're going to kind of pick up where we left off here on tips and tricks for caring for folks with Alzheimer's. So we were talking last time a little bit about, reducing frustration being the biggest and most important thing that we really kind of encourage folks to focus on, because frustration is such an issue. It's such a frustrating disease process for caregivers and for patients, that we really want to make that the main focus so that everyone can be as happy and healthy as possible. So what's our first tip we're going to be talking about in this podcast today, Britt?
All right, y'all. So the number one thing we're going to talk about is providing simple instructions. So we kind of had talked about this on the other one, but making things very clear, one step, easy. Like Annie was saying, give them two options, A, B. That way it kind of just simplifies it for them. The more you make it complicated, the more it's going to seem complicated to them, and the frustration will just kick in very, very, very quickly. Biggest thing is communication with them. So, like Annie had said in the previous one, if you want to set out two different types of clothing, do you want to wear this one or this one? Do you want to, go for a walk, or do we want to watch a movie? It's the simplifying the instructions for them and making sure that it stays simple is the number one key. Same thing with medications. Take that
for granted too,
yes.
We'll tell our, for example, like I have a 6-year-old, so like, go pick up your toys and go upstairs and get your shirt changed so we can get out of here. Well, if you did that to an Alzheimer's or dementia patient, they would maybe get one step in, and that would be it. They would just be like, wait a minute, hold on, what are you asking me to do?
Yes.
And so the biggest thing, like Brittany said, is having just one step, not giving them a series of instructions of pick up your shirt, put your shirt on, go get your shoes, and let's go to the car. Well, instead just say, can you pick up your shoe? Let's pick up your shoe. And then another shoe. All right, let's put your shirt on. We're keeping it simple and keeping the focus on one task at hand. So that way they're less likely to get overwhelmed. They're less likely to have that frustration. All right. And so what is our second tip that we're going to go over today, Brittany?
Limiting napping. So with Alzheimer's, one of the biggest thing that comes with that is sundowners. And if you don't know what sundowners is where they confuse their night and their days. So the biggest thing with that to avoid is obviously we want to make sure that they're not napping for 4 or 5 hours during the day, or late evening naps 4 or 5 hours, because it's going to flip their schedule, and they're not going to have any idea if they, if you're letting them nap between 4 and 7 p.m. and then around 9:30 you're trying to keep them on the schedule like we talked about. Around 9:30 all of a sudden they're going back to bed. They're going to be like, whoa, I went to bed, I woke up. You're going to throw off their schedule. So you want to limit their napping. Most elderly do nap. They usually recommend napping to be right after lunchtime. Because you're once again giving them a set schedule, and 2, it's in the middle of their day. So you're not throwing them off. You let them nap for an hour or 2 hours. It's kind of like a toddler. You let them nap for an hour, 2 hours, and then you wake them back up. Of course, same thing with simple instructions. Let's get up. Let's get moving. Let's, go play bingo or whatever is going on, maybe at a facility. You kind of keep it to a limitation, and that will obviously help with some of the frustration and obviously sundowner issues.
Well, yeah. And then the biggest thing too is, because sundowners usually in the evenings, they're going to start having some mood changes, some behavior changes, they're wandering, things like that. So on that note, if they start having worse symptoms in the evening, early evening, as the sun's going down, and you let them nap all day, and now they're going to be up all night because they've gotten days and nights a little mixed up, well, that's a huge safety risk, because unless, you're a superhuman, and you have some kind of weird capabilities to not sleep at all, as a caregiver, how are you going to make sure they're safe? They're just like a child, unfortunately, like we said, the circle of life, you kind of
Yep.
are, especially with this disease process, very childlike. And so they have to be supervised for safety reasons at all times, so they don't mistakenly, leave a burner on the stove and burn the house down, or
Mhm.
wander outside, get lost, and have something bad happen. So if they're flip-flopped and they're up all night, well, that's going to be a tough one for everyone at home, because either they're going to keep everyone up, or you're going to have to stay up to supervise them. So you really want to try to get them in that normal routine and get those circadian rhythms flowing, so they can know their days and their nights. So that you're not having to worry about trying to supervise them at nighttime when you want to be sleeping. And so kind of along the same lines, our last tip for today is reducing distractions. So when you're having a conversation or giving them that simple one task instruction, if they have a lot of other things going on around them, television blaring loud, their favorite show, you have lots of people around, having conversations, they can get overwhelmed very easily, and it can be almost overstimulating.
Yep.
So we really, especially if you're trying to have a directed kind of conversation, or trying to have a task that you need to get done, go ahead and turn off the TV, turn off the radio, bring them into a room where it's quieter, and you guys can focus on getting that task done, or asking them the question that you needed to ask, those kinds of things. So trying to keep their distraction level down can really, again, reduce frustration, which is our main goal here, is keeping the frustration down, and allowing that task or that conversation to happen as smoothly as possible. So that's kind of the end part of our second podcast here in our Alzheimer's series. And like we said, a lot of these things that we're talking about, if you're struggling with doing these on your own, reach out, because having a caregiver come in, even for just a few hours a day, to help out, can be a huge factor in being able to have that loved one at home longer, and not having to place them in memory care or something similar, because you're frustrated, you're not getting a break, you're overwhelmed and exhausted.
Yep.
So if there's any way that we can be of service and we can help you with that, we would love to do so. Like I mentioned in one of our earlier podcasts, Brittany has a lot of experience with dementia. We're actually putting Brittany through her training soon to become a certified dementia practitioner. And, as a nurse practitioner, I've had my own experience with Alzheimer's and dementia patients as well. But we've got plenty of experience that we can come sit down, meet with you guys, have conversations, and see how we might be of service. So you can always check out our website at www.carecrewdfw.com, where you can fill out a free form for an in-home assessment, and we can get that set up for you. Or you can always call us or text us at our office number at 817-242-4717. And that line goes through 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So you can reach us at any time. And again, if you found this content helpful, these tips and tricks are giving you some help and some ease when you're caring for your loved one at home, let us know, give us a like, give us a comment, subscribe to our channel or our page, and share this with anyone else that you think might benefit. Maybe you have some friends or neighbors that are also caregivers for folks with Alzheimer's and dementia, and might be struggling a little bit. So sharing is caring. Make sure we share that information. And we look forward to seeing you guys in our next episode of our Alzheimer's series. So see you next week, guys. Bye.
Bye.